with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, whereas trees in our community increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the Lake City Columbia County Beautification Committee does hereby designate and dedicate a tree today to honor Dr. Ralph Paul Witt, Jr., DVM, for his contributions to our community. Now therefore, I, Stephen M. Witt, Mayor of the City of Lake City, do hereby recognize Dr. Ralph Paul Witt, Jr., DVM, for his contributions to our community by being selected as the 2017 Florida Arbor Day honoree, and urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being for this and future generations. Thank you.
Amen.
I think at this time, Mr. Montgomery can speak.
I am not Kurt Haggard, even though I taught him, and he was in my scout troop, became an Eagle Scout in my scout troop. But I called him Tuesday to remind him about this, and he said, "Oh, I cannot be there." So, how many of you, and hopefully none of you, read Stan's article in the Lake City Reporter yesterday? All right, very good. I want to show you. Good. You're going to hear it now. All right. It's perfect for today. Stan, I called. He is the county forester, and I called his office to ask if it would be all right if I use some of his article in the paper, and his phone has been disconnected. So I assume it's okay. All right, but he had a very good article, and I asked a very good friend of mine, Andrew Porter. I use his classroom in the mornings to teach my class. He knows how to use a computer, I don't. And so I asked him to look up trees, okay? And he came up with pages of the good things about trees. Well, I looked at all of them, I said, we already know all those things, you know? So when this came out in the paper, I said, this is perfect for what I would like to do today. All right. So this is Stan Shepard's article that was in the report. And part of what Steve said just then. 145 years ago in Nebraska, Arbor Day had its beginning. On January the 4th, 1872, now that's a long time ago. That's 10 years after the Civil War, and our General Ulysses S. Grant is the president. We won't talk about that. Not one of our best. Right? But anyway, on January the 4th, 1872, Sterling Morton, a member of the State Board of Agriculture and later governor of Nebraska, introduced and secured an adoption of the following resolution. And I quote, that the 10th day of April be especially set aside and consecrated to planting trees in the state of Nebraska, and hereby name it Arbor Day. Statewide, and I end the quote, statewide publication was given on that occasion, and more than 1 million trees were planted on the first Arbor Day in Nebraska. Arbor Day became a recognized celebration during the presidency of Theodore Roosevelt. Now, of course, you know, he was very much into nature and such as that, in parks and that sort of thing. Now, we're jumping way here from 72 to now we're into 1900, okay? The early days of 1900 when he was president. He made conservation of natural resources one of his main objectives. The publicity by the press and through the schools during those early years benefited Arbor Day, and this day was eventually observed throughout the United States. The citizens of Florida had their first Arbor Day celebration in 1886. Okay, in 1886, Florida got on the wagon. For many years, Florida had 2 Arbor Days. One observed by the public schools